去把 Oh, okay, cool. Can you hear? I'm guessing. So it'll start at 1 o'clock, so it'll start in 5 minutes. I don't know. Maybe if I just come and touch the screen every now and then. Don't know. Okay. Yes.
Should I wear a cap when I'm being filmed or not?
Yeah, it's got the logo on it, which is good.
Yeah.
So
Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to take your seats or wherever your posture is going to be during this time, we're going to make a commencement. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for coming along. Thank you for taking a part of your Sunday and coming here to get together, listen to us. Thank you, Michael. And for those that don't know, my name is Michael O'Neill. I'm the president of the Heart Party. The Heart Party. This is a Heart Party event. What on earth is the Heart Party? The Heart Party is an Australian political party registered federally and the state of New South Wales. Our words stand for heart, health, environment, accountability, rights and transparency. That is our party. That's what we call beliefs. We used to be the Informed Medical Options Party, but we realised that we are more than that. We are a party with heart, and we wanted to grow. We wanted to be a force to go out there and to get recognition in mainstream Australia and let people know that we're representing their interests and their freedom and the rights of every Australian to be able to make fundamental choices in their life, which once upon a time was considered to be absolutely mandatory, which is now considered to be a conspiracy lunatic fringe. Unbelievable. But nevertheless, on the positive side, we would like to press our cause to the fore. We would like to advance our interests to the Australian people, and we would hope that there will be many Australians that would vote for us so that we can go and have representation in these great houses of parliament, represent the voice of the people who currently don't find representation. I'd also like to thank here, we have a wonderful team of helpers and volunteers. I'd like to thank Kevin, he's the manager of this club. There he is. And Kevin's been a stalwart of the party for many years, and he gives us this wonderful venue. And thank you for participating and to help us to raise some funds to take our battle to a next level. Also like to thank all our little sellers we have over here, the girls. We have a great team. You know, I can't even believe these girls. They're so passionate. We have different board members scattered through the crowd. They give their time. We have board meetings we've been having them every 2 weeks, and they're always there. They're always there. They're passionate. They believe in this. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. There we go. There's our one more. I can't name them. There's too many. So today we're going to have raffles. We're going to have over here. We've got some beautiful items for raffle, and that will take place after all the speeches. We also have some merchandise for sale. We would hope that you would consider buying a T-shirt with the Heart Party logo on it, because if you would buy that, you could walk around. Now, I know that a lot of people used to say, I don't like wearing the IMOP logo around, but who could be offended at wearing a lovely heart logo on your chest, you know, to walk around with that. So I would encourage you, and it will help us with our fundraising activities and also promote our brand. If you would come up and buy a T-shirt, we will be very happy with you if you do. Yes, yes. And Barbara, you'll be happy with them, won't you? Yes, thank you. Tonight, or this afternoon, we do have a few. I want to introduce a few people that are going to say a few words before over the next little short time, and I'm actually just checking because I'm prone to miss things. I write it down what I have to. Yes. Oh, that's right. I have to give the detail of the raffle. The raffle is one. You get a 2-hour singing lesson voucher valued at $350 if you're in Sydney. $350. We have some books, The Assassination of Barbara O'Neill, written by an eminent author, me. We have a beautiful gift hamper donated by the Misty Mountain Health Retreat, a splendid place that I'd recommend every Australian should at some time visit in their life and have a health epiphany, and you will live longer. We have, beg your pardon? We are booked out, well, many months ahead. I know that. But, you know, just we do take bookings.
You could volunteer.
We actually do. This is one of our candidates and workers from Misty Mountain. We take volunteers up there where people come and they have a wonderful... Is it nice being a volunteer at Misty Mountain?
No, we work here really hard.
Oh, yes. Lodgers need not apply. So we have some Heart Party mugs. We have some cognac worth $115 from a personal collection. We have 2 tickets to Faulty Towers dinner and show value at a couple of $100, and we have some bottles of wine. So they will all be raffled off later on. So get your raffle tickets, and they are circulating around here. We will wait till everyone's bought a raffle ticket, and you may get a chance to purchase those. So the first person that I would like to invite up here to say some words is a very dear friend of mine. In fact, I was driving down the coast the other day, and I was thinking, oh, it's time I might get out and stretch my legs. And so I pulled up in the main street of Coffs Harbour, went for a little walk, and I came back, got into my car, and then I looked up and I thought, oh, that bus in front of me says Cafe Lockdown all over it. And so I got back out of my car, I walked around, knocked on the door, and there was Michael and Kelly. And so we'd already spoken about coming here to have a few words, so I'd like to invite Michael. We had a great time up there in Coffs Harbour, and so happy to have you here, Michael.
Hi everybody, it's quite an honour to be here actually. Last night I had the incredible honour, I've met Michael loads of times, but I had the incredible honour of sitting with Barbara O'Neill, and I did wonder, because she's so uber famous, whether it'd be awkward, but in fact she was authentic, gentle, strong, wise, and I feel in what I do that I'm a moth attracted to the flame, but the flame is giants, and their roots might be tiny, and he's not much bigger, but they are giants in our community, and that's why I'm here, because if we're going to move forward, we need giants in charge. This is a time where those humans who refuse to bend, and if you hear some of Michael's incredible stories from what he's been through, this is what we need now. Hats off to all of you as well, because I think anybody who is active now in any way is basically refusing to bend to a narrative that is just not human. We are heading to a world where humans are not revered. And I think that is what is becoming the fight. And I think we can build a new future on people such as yourself, because you're willing to stand up, you're willing to be strong, and it's a choice. I am not a particularly brave man. I'm not a particularly even a good man. I'm just dead, boring, ordinary. But what I decided to do when I saw oppression in Melbourne, I realised that I was terrified, and I was given a choice. I could go home and not tell my children what I'd seen, and hope that it all went away and take that route. But instead I prayed for the first time in my life where I actually meant it. And there was police everywhere beating everyone up. Later in the day I would be shot and all other manner of stuff. But the fear would be gone by then, and the fears never come back. And I said in that prayer, you don't owe me nothing, mate. I spent most of my life trying to pretend you don't exist. But if you'll take away my fear now, because I can't go home, because I can't leave what I'm seeing to my children and the next generation. I can't do it. But I don't have the courage to stay. So if you take away my fear, I'll fight fear.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. At the table last night, I was saying to Barbara to see if her and Michael would concur, because people often say, why do you keep going? How do you keep going? And I think people like Barbara and Michael and a lot of people here, probably most of you, I feel we're under orders. We don't have a choice. I saw that at Epic. Epic was a gathering of guardians. There was, that's why I started recording people, because this was somewhere in this vast, the old tribe of Australia where we're all one. Once oppression started, a few of us said no. And that's what I really believe. I really believe we're a tribe. I believe if we can stand our ground, and we're proving that we can be the architects of the future. And to tell you something nice before I hand over to these groups, myself and a colleague, Craig, drove to Cooper Pedy because they said Cooper Pedy, they would just destroy us. And when we got there, we found there's a lot of people like you. They were really angry. And the first person that came on had a huge beard and he looked really aggressive. And he came up to our window and we were thinking maybe this wasn't such a good idea. And then he went, Cafe Lockdown, I love you guys, watch you all the time. And I'm like, wow. But this is what he did. I asked him what he did. He was from Tasmania and he lives in the desert. Every night he goes out in the desert into the darkness with a thing called a black light. And he scans the desert for opal, because opal just lights up in this whatever this light is. And it really remained with me. And I think there's a lot of people in our society that I don't understand. I don't think they're bad people, but they make choices that I don't understand. And I feel that our country has gone through a great period of darkness. And in all that darkness, all I've been doing is shining a light. And you guys are the opals. And that's it. That's what you are. Even if you're unrecognised, that's what you are. And Barbara and Michael, they are too. And the beauty about an opal is they come in all different shapes and sizes, all different colours, but they're all precious. And so I think if we all continue to keep doing what we're all doing in our little way, then bit by bit by bit, we'll chip away. It's a long fight. It's a long, long, long fight. But I think the thing on our side is not just God, it's just the fact that we're human beings. And it's a beautiful, wonderful, miraculous thing to be a human being. And it's not just worth fighting for, it's worth dying for. And that's why we won't break.
Yes.
And I welcome him back. I will vote for this man.
Thank you, Michael. We all appreciate the stand you've taken. We all know Cafe Lockdown. We love you, brother, and all your work. Our next speaker that's just going to come up is Angela. Angela Keaters she was the candidate. She ran as a candidate for the Informed Medical Options Party in the seat of Patterson in the federal election and in the state election for the seat of Port Stephens. Angela.
Thank you.
Great. I much prefer to hold something and be able to move because I'm not currently in my comfort zone. It's wonderful to see so many awakening wonders. Please join me in acknowledging this land because no matter how it is you came to be here, we all eat the food from this land. We drink the water from this land, and with every breath we take, we are connected to each other and this land. The Guringai people have cared for this land for thousands and thousands of years. They know her secrets and heaven's plan. So to all Aboriginal people and to this land, we say, Nirun Narabuga, Nirun Marumbu, Nirun Burai, Numajuko Duki, which means, we're sorry, we thank you, and we love this land and wish to make it grow stronger. I'm passionate about stopping the poisoning of the planet and the poisoning of the people. And it's my mission to see a healthy planet and healthy people. And that's how someone who can stand up here and say this is not my comfort zone wound up being a candidate in 2 elections. My background is that I was a registered nurse, and then I studied law and became a barrister. I found my way into the independent education sector and worked there for 10 years, and I thought that that was my forever and ever job. But circumstances changed, the world turned upside down, and I was kicked out of that forever and ever job. And that was the impetus for me then to find a voice. Because at that time, I felt as though nobody was speaking up for me and that I didn't have a voice. I was aware at that time of the Informed Medical Options Party. I had, in my career as a barrister, been a human rights barrister, and for example, I represented the Falun Gong in the Supreme Court. And so I do have this bent about me for standing up for human rights. And as a registered nurse, I was very big on consent, and I saw many abuses of patients' consent as an operating theatre nurse. So as an operating theatre nurse, it is your role actually, before a patient comes into the theatre, to check the consent form. And I can tell you that I had no hesitation in confronting surgeons and saying to them, I'm sorry, but this patient has not given you an informed consent. They do not understand the procedure that you're about to perform on them. And I'd send the surgeon back out of the theatre to gain an informed consent before we would continue. So I do have that bent about me. And it was, and I can't even remember the year now, and maybe many of you appreciate this, that the years have rolled together recently. It's all happened so fast, or seemingly very fast. There's been a quickening. But it wasn't that long ago that we were in town hall and we were protesting the bill for the No Jab, No Pay. That was just a bill. It wasn't legislation, it didn't exist. But that was the first time that I saw Michael O'Neill. And so that man in that moment, it was raining, I was wearing a big raincoat on that day, and I couldn't believe, from my experience as a registered nurse and knowing what informed consent was, and from my experience of it as a barrister and understanding human rights, I just couldn't believe that this bill was going through. It's even being proposed. But there on the steps of Town Hall, I was standing back in the crowd with my raincoat on and 2 small children around me, and that's where I saw Michael O'Neill. And it was only after that bill became legislation that they formed the Informed Medical Options Party, and I signed up. I started getting their newsletters. So they were on my radar, I was aware of them, but I had no interest in politics and never ever thought that I would get involved in something like that until, like I said, recent events. And it felt like actually, not only was I kicked out of bed, but my bed was taken away from me and I couldn't get back into it. And there we were holding rallies in Newcastle. So I know there's some people from Newcastle here, but shout out if you're from Newcastle, the Hunter, Port Stephens, I can see you around. So we were holding these fantastic rallies in Newcastle called Reclaim the Line, and there was a federal election approaching, and I wanted to know that the Informed Medical Options Party would be on the ticket, that I would be able to vote for them. So I rang, what can I call you today? Chiz? Are you Chiz or Monica? Who are you?
Sorry.
Giselle, okay, I phoned Gisela. See, she's a bit funny. When she signs the newsletters, she calls herself Monica. But so I phoned Gisela and I said, have you got a candidate for Patterson, which is my region. She said, oh no, we don't. I said, okay, well, you know, I really want to be able to vote for you. Look, if you don't get anybody, I'll do it. And so I really thought that they would find somebody more, you know, more up for it, someone more likely to be a political candidate. But they didn't. And the next thing I knew, I had Michael came personally out to visit me, and we went through the policies. And I can tell you that there wasn't a single policy that caused me to cringe or go, no, I couldn't stand for that. And so I could say yes to every single policy that the Informed Medical Options Party was running with, and then so that's how I landed in this position. But I didn't see myself as, you know, it wasn't ego-driven. I didn't see myself as a candidate, you know, here, let's all celebrate Angela. All I saw was I was putting a face behind all, sorry Michael, behind all the people, behind all the people that wanted to be able to vote, you know, and wanted to have a voice and wanted to have something to say. So, yeah, so becoming a candidate just put a face and gave us someone that, you know, that we could all tick the box. So thank you so much, Michael, for what you've done, and I'll get out of the way now.
Yeah, it's not all the hallmarks of a good politician, plenty to say. Thank you, Angela. We loved having you on the team. It was great. Yes. Our next speaker, who's going to be, is Dr. Leslie Kinney. Leslie ran in the federal seat of North Sydney and also in the New South Wales election in the Senate. Leslie, come up here. I don't want to embarrass you by hitting you on the shoulder.
Hi everyone. It's probably too far away for me to read, but look, I started my adult life as an environmental activist and got caught up in the Franklin River Down bizzo, went to jail, did all that stuff, but we saved the Franklin River from being so I don't need to tell you all what we've been through in the last few years. It's been absolutely outrageous, and I wanted to find a way of turning it back around, at least, or turning it better around, you know. So I was looking for a party that had similar beliefs and values to me, and I have been involved with other not registered parties and researched very heavily into the impact of 5G. But then suddenly, because that was the big issue several years ago, and then suddenly we had this COVID nightmare. And I just thought, no, we've got to do something about this. So, of course, I found the Heart Party, which was IMOC then, and they, to me, and still are, the party with the greatest integrity, and that meant everything to me because the values were just so aligned with my own and what I believe is good and right. So, apart from that, I love the fact that they have the courage to expose government obfuscation of key agencies and their underlying corruptions, such as the food production, medical and pharmaceutical industries and their approval organisations, the onslaught of the 5G juggernaut and the smart city agenda, digital ID and centrally controlled digital currency. These are all the main adversaries, as I see it at the moment, which all lead to this horrendous concept of a global takeover of our lives, how we live, you know. So I also saw that this party had the ability and the willingness to thoroughly research all of these issues and to expose government corruption. I wanted to be able to help reinforce individual and national sovereignty, which is being whittled away at an alarming rate. And I believe that we really, well, for a start, it gives a platform for people like me to put such ideas out there. And of course, wonderful if we get elected, because we will make a difference. But we make a difference anyway because we spread the truth. And that to me is everything that we need to do more and more to awake the ever-growing population of awakening souls. And so that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Leslie. You might notice here what we're doing. We're just getting a few of our candidates that would like to say a few words, and we've got a couple more to go, and then we will be... Barbara, you've got something to say? Yes, no, we'll get her up here. She'll have something to say. Our next person I'd like to invite up is Domna. Domna, she ran in the seat of Cronulla, and she's a great girl. Domna, it's your microphone.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So good to see so many faces. I won't keep you long, but anyway, the reason I chose to stand as a candidate in Cronulla was because, number one, I wanted people in my community to have somebody they could vote for in the freedom parties. Number two, I was at the rally that Angela mentioned in 2015 because I was also very passionate about every individual having the choice to choose what medical interventions they want to or not want to give to themselves or their children. So then, fast forward to 2018, I found Barbara O'Neill's video online, and as soon as I heard what she had to say about health and how we can actually take care of our own health, we don't need to rely on the experts to do so for us, as long as we take our responsibility to change the things in our environment, we can heal ourselves. Then as soon as I heard her talk, I thought I've got to meet her, and then I saw she was speaking at the Natural Health Society. They have a quarterly magazine, and it's all about natural health, how to heal yourself. I encourage you to look it up and subscribe to the magazine. And I went and I saw Barbara speak live, and that was so exciting. There were so many other also wonderful speakers. And at that time, Barbara mentioned to me that her husband was also had started the Informed Medical Options Party. So I filed that information away, and fast forward to 2020 or 21 when these mandates came through. It was an obvious choice for me. No, I will not be taking any, experimental vaccines for myself, as I had stopped giving vaccinations to my child after 12 months when she had a negative experience after the 12-month one, and I chose not to vaccinate further from there. And so I wanted to stand up and do everything that I can in my power to just stop this craziness. I mean, this is our body, it's our vessel. It belongs to us. It houses our spirit. So we have to have choice as to what we do with it and what comes into it. So that's why vote for the Heart Party, get involved, stand up as a candidate if you can. Just be brave. I have no political experience. I was really passionate about freedom of choice. And yes, I put my hand up, and then it led to the next thing and the next thing. So yes, thank you. I'll hand you back over to Michael.
What a lovely girl. Thank you very much. And for her husband lending her to us to let the whole politics take over their home. Yeah, thank you. I'd like to now invite Mary Jane Lidicott. She was a federal candidate for the ACT in the Senate. So Mary Jane, you'd like to come up here, please? Mary Jane has a very interesting history. She might give us a brief overview of her profile.
So I've got the 3-minute warning. Sorry if I'm sounding a bit croaky. I've been enjoying for the last 4 days some flu bombs. I can tell you what, they work. I'm on the mend. So Mary Jane from Canberra. Is Michael Sims around here somewhere? Because he's going to speak next. He's hiding. He's always hiding. In 2020, early 2020, when I was watching the ABC still, and I thought, oh no, I can smell propaganda a mile off. This is crazy, and turned it off. What do? I found there was a rally. Canberra, Parliament House, turned up 7 of us, me, Mike, and 5 other people. And then he was planning another rally at Freedom Day, and I said, oh, well, where are you doing it in Canberra? He went, Canberra? We don't do anything in Canberra. I do it in Sydney. And I said, well, I will do it in Canberra. You must remember yourself hand-making the first signs you've ever made, and what am I going to put on it, and what am I going to do? And next rally we had, I don't know, 20 people and so on, so on, build up. And I don't know if you've seen the photographs of the, let's say, between 10,000 and 2 million people that gathered on Canberra. And that is where I met these fantastic people. Not the first rally of 7 of us, but certainly at every single rally after that, was there, and before that. So this has been a long, long road for them, representing people in a very, very tough and dark world. And so then when it came, the rallies took their toll, and I was having a break, and I thought I'll retire again. And Michael and the party asked me to support Michael Sims in Canberra. Now, the one thing I did want to stress is that I'm a nobody. I'm just a mum. I'm retired. Yes, I've worked in the public service. I've done a bit of this, that, and the other. The one thing that I did have, and I've heard it a lot today, is I recognised that I had choice, and I can choose for me. No one gives me that choice. I get to choose, will I stand up? 2020 was when I raised my head above the parapet. Up until then, for 20 years, I knew not to do certain things, but then I went, no, this is the time to stand up. Yes, my head's been shot off a lot of times, but you get used to it, you get thick skin, I made a choice. We all have choice. Now, not everybody has the skill or desire to do everything that everyone else does, but everyone can choose to stand up and do something, even if it's to hold one of these and help one of the candidates hand them out somewhere. Do a letterbox drop at 10 o'clock at night if you're a bit shy like I did first time round. No one's going to see me. Shut. The trick to that is you go to apartment buildings where you can just do a lot. Anyway, so the cry is, Giselle, the lovely team we've got here, we always need more helpers. And I certainly would love to just go back and do whatever it is that is required. For example, today, there's another broadcaster, the Freedom Broadcasting Network, who couldn't make it into town because their bus is too big. So they said, oh, could you just hook up your phone and do a live stream? Sure, I'll do that. So they're sweating and so on. So anything you can do to help the lovely Heart Party, will be greatly appreciated. So thank you again, everyone, for having me. I'll hand it back to Michael.
Thank you, Mary Jane. It was great having you on board, and we had a lot of fun together. Yeah, it was a fun time, and still is. Our next speaker, very briefly, is Barry Devine, who he ran in the seat of Ryde for the party, and he's going to come up and just say a few words. Barry, thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael. So with this whole COVID thing going on, I had a pretty good start on. I've been anti-pharmaceuticals all my life, and I call them pharmaceuticals because that's what they are. So then when it came to I volunteered for UAP for the federal election, and from that I met a great group of volunteers, my Ride Freedom group. They became my volunteers for the state election. I came here for the political launch. I had my name down to stand up in one of the electorates. Joel Jamal said, "Oh, we've got ride free," so I went for a ride. Michael came up to me and said, "Oh, are you attached to a party?" I said, "No." He said, "Do you want to run for IMOP?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And I want to thank Michael and all the IMOP backing people. They were great support. And so I ran, seeing the number of people who just want to vote for, I'll give me my Labor sheet because I always vote Labor, or give me the Liberal sheet, I always vote Liberal. It's really hard to get people out of the mindset of just voting for the major parties.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got 2.5%, which a lot of people say was good for a first attempt. But anyway, so will I do it again? Don't know. If Michael wants me to come back. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Barry. We appreciated the effort you put into it. It was great. And your volunteers, all the volunteers actually, you're here scattered through the crowd here, and we really appreciate all the effort that you guys put into. So now I'd like to invite the elusive Michael Sims to please come up the front. Where is he? There he is. Michael was also a candidate in the ACT Federal in the Senate. Is that right, Michael?
Yeah.
There we go. It's all for you.
And look at me.
Yeah.
I play the part well.
There we go.
So I'm not used to. I'm used to speaking. So can everyone make some noise for me? Thank you. I just need that energy, makes me feel a bit more comfortable. So for those that don't know, I ran MMAMB, Millions March Against Mandatory Vaccines rallies, Australia-wide. We formed that in May of 2020. So we were running national events all around the country under that banner. It's a weird name to remember, MMAMB. So the media would often put other names as other people were running them, which was a bit sad. Reignite Democracy Australia got claimed for running our events. Australia versus Agenda got sent to jail for running events he wasn't doing. That's the kind of stuff that happened. But there was one man, and I think I can mention it now. I don't know if you can get arrested for stuff from 4 years ago, can you, Michael? Michael got the permit for our first event in Sydney. So Millions March Against Mandatory Vaccinations, our first anti-lockdown events in the country. This man got the permit for it. So that was my first dealing with Michael. He put his name on the line for some illegal event that we broke the rules all day long. You know, you're supposed to keep 5 metres away from each other and wear masks and social distance and all that kind of garbage. Met Michael again, well, I didn't meet him because cops stopped me from going. In September of 2020, there's a famous story, and I still haven't seen the footage, Michael, of the police chasing Michael, and Michael doing the runner from the police in Sydney. So this is the man. He was, again, front and centre, dealing with this, not just talking it on the internet and hiding at home. He was there doing it. We did another one. So lockdowns again in Sydney, and the NRL Grand Final was allowed to go on. So I'm like, we're not allowed outside, we can't go anywhere. Let's do a protest at the NRL Grand Final. Because the trains are going and people are allowed to go there, let's go there. It was torrential storms, about 30 people turned up. The riot squad came in. They said, "Yous are dangerous. Yous are breaking the law, this is a crime. You're gonna cause harm to everybody that's here." There was 30,000 people in the building next to us. So again, this man, Michael O'Neill, was there in the pouring rain with 29 other people, and some of them are here today. There's another lady who's here, I won't mention her name, and she, with Millions March, she was with me the whole time, and she is here, and she was with the Heart Party or IMOP. So there was amazing people behind the scenes whose name were never out there because it wasn't about ego or getting their names out. They were just doing stuff. They knew people. So I got involved with Michael, with IMOP, because it was without a doubt. I guess before that, we were involved in the biggest event in Sydney ever. We say 150,000 people there. Don't know. At that time, and I'll keep it positive because Michael said to keep it positive, but there was another political party that got involved, bribed me, put car-size signs on my stage. I threw them on the road. But the thing was, this political party, they were never with us at the start. But they were throwing out T-shirts and hats, and they used that for their political ad. Like they made out the event was theirs. Yet this man, who was here the whole time, And people at all these events, they don't know who IMOP is. Why does no one know who IMOP is? And that was a concern I had, because he's the most authentic man, most honest man, the most trustworthy man, and no one.
Right. Looks like we've lost our feed coming out of the Heart Party launch, which is a tad unfortunate. I think there is one speaker, maybe two left to go. And I know we were all very keen to see Barbara. I have no way of reaching the people who are providing the phone service at the moment. I've been trying. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get that unless they figure it out and are able to bring it back up. I've got a sneaking suspicion the phone that's been being used to stream that has gone to sleep. It won't have gone flat because I supplied a big extra battery for it. I'm just trying to send a message and see if I can get something through. Unfortunately, though, I don't think that is going to be a success. We'll give it a few more minutes and hope that that they come back online. But if that isn't the case, then unfortunately, I'm going to have to end it there, I guess. It is good to see and hear the plans for the Heart Party. And yes, there is an acronym for it, which I didn't write down. I probably should have. But yeah, it's a bit of a tragedy that we've had this dropout as it has. So my apologies for that. It probably would have been better if I was able to get to Sydney, but unfortunately, one thing being the venue that they chose is just in a position that is diabolically difficult to get. If I was just in the bus, I'd be okay. But the fact is I'm towing something behind me that's as long as the bus. So it puts me in a semi-trailer type range for parking. And I wasn't able to get in there. I looked and looked and looked to try and find somewhere where I could park it, leave it, maybe Uber to the place and come back again. And then I started looking at fines when somebody warned me about parking in places where, vehicles like this aren't meant to park. So that kept us away from getting back into Sydney, which is a tad unfortunate. Stewie's telling us that Starlink are teaming up with Optus to offer phones and sat calling later this year. That's an interesting little pickup, Stu. I'll have to go and look into that. Yeah, very strange. So, look, my apologies, folks. It doesn't look like that's going to come back on. In fact, it's MJ's phone, Mary Jane Lidicott, who was one of the speakers there. So if that doesn't come back in the next couple of minutes, I think we might have to leave it for today. And I will be talking with both Michael and Barbara, hopefully early or mid next week, where we will be able to, catch up on the bits we've missed out on here, I suppose, today. So my apologies for the dropout. It's just one of the things that happens when Mary Jane alluded to the fact that she was helping me here, and she was a bit nervous about it. So God love her, she's done a great job. I just think the phone, because there was no action on the screen or anything like that, has gone to sleep, and that cuts the feed, which is a tad unfortunate. So I apologise that we haven't been able to get it all out. All right, folks, I'll let you go back to your Saturday. It's a beautiful day in Oberon. So hopefully it's pretty good where you are too. I've been keeping a bit of abreast across mainstream media, which is practically wetting itself over this opportunity that has presented itself, the tragedy of Westfield Bondi Junction. There is a media frenzy. Channel 7 have just gone berserk. I think they've been live on this since it happened. They are not going with normal programming. All the football is being put onto different channels. So yeah, and all they're doing is replaying the same bit of footage time and time again, and trying to extract details out of people who were at the centre but never saw anything. This is just pathetic media at its best. Pathetic media. This is a horrifying story, but does it need 24-hour-a-day coverage? I don't believe it does. Of course, updates on those who are in hospital and having recovery. That's important news, but that isn't something you need to be set up live for continuously. There is no more extra new vision that they seem to have found from anybody who was in the centre and filmed what was going on. Channel 9 have got the brains at least to only drop in and do some half-hour updates now and again. And Channel 10 I haven't even bothered looking at, because I would assume they would do nothing. They have no body and no ability to be out there and doing it much. So Channel 10 being the pauper in the mainstream, I think we've got more gear than Channel 10 do, just between you, me and the gatepost. So yeah, mainstream media are frothing about all of this. And of course, Channel 7 in their exuberance to release the name of the person responsible for the tragedies at Westfield got it wrong. They broke a name out early this morning, a name of Ben Cohen. Ben Cohen had nothing to do with this, but they named him and they showed his picture, which was a tad unfortunate. Oh, it looks like we might be getting a picture back. Fingers crossed. I'll wait to see if it actually turns up. If it does, we might be getting there. Fingers crossed. Oh, look, it does look like it's coming back. I'll get off and put that back on. Here we go. Well, maybe.
Not to be right.
That looks like it's a different phone position. Yeah, looks like we're having a few struggles there at the moment. It does look like the phone has changed position. We might actually be on Mick Sim's phone now, rather than Mary Jane's, judging by the change of position. And I know Mick, he doesn't have the latest phone, let's put it that way, and he doesn't have the latest phone for a reason, God love him. So that might be part of the reason why this is occurring. We're getting a very stop-start feed, so I think I'm going to have to leave it from there, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just impossible to watch off that feed. So maybe MJ's went flat. Maybe my 20,000 amp hour battery didn't help her with that. So a bit of a problem. Anyway, it is what it is. Look,
I think other people might be able to put up their hands to support the Heart Party, because I see it as a really good fit with what Barbara's doing, what Michael's doing around natural food. It's actually what they're doing to our food systems. And the CSIRO's got the transformation, it's called the Synthetic Biology Roadmap. They've got an edible insect roadmap. Precision fermentation, which uses a genetically modified bacteria to be able to create food products, is really, really being funded heavily by the government. And they can call that non-GMO, even though it's completely genetically modified. The first lab meat's about to be accepted or put through the FSA-NZ into Australia, into the food market. It's got backing from the company that's doing it, has financial backing from a company that is run by the ex-CEO of CSIRO, and a Saudi Arabian oil company. So there's massive players in the field around what's happening with our food systems. It's basically, the messaging is synthetic is sustainable. So they're selling this as synthetic food will feed the world, which is United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 2, and it'll save the climate, which is another United Nations Development Goal, I think it's number 13. So that's if you read the documents, that's what they're saying. To actually feed the world and to save the climate, we have to eat synthetic food. It has to be fundamentally genetically altered through CRISPRing and other devices. So we're in that position. In, I think it was 2020, the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization signed a strategic partnership with CropLife, and CropLife is Bayer, Monsanto, Syngenta, etc., to transform the global food system. And at the moment, Bayer, Monsanto, CropLife is trying to get through in America so they can't be sued. So the whole chemical companies who are transforming our food system. So at the same time, we have all these biosecurity threats. I spent all last year trying to stop the killing of the bees through New South Wales through biosecurity, and also putting the fipronil down through the environment. Now they're up in eastern Queensland, northern New South Wales, poisoning huge amounts of land for the fire ants. And that is also over food areas. So we're seeing massive, massive poisoning of lands. We're seeing synthetic biology coming in to replace natural food sources. And we're also seeing farmers being pushed off land through because of the massive renewable push through the lands and over agricultural land. So it's coming together in a very big picture, and it's very alarming as to, because all they have to say is there's a biosecurity threat and they can wipe out anything at this point in time. And recently I saw they want to, even if you've got one backyard chicken, they're now angling to get that you've got to get a license for your backyard chicken. So our food systems aren't safe, and even if we do a little bit on our own, it's still not safe. And I'd love to see if anyone here comes and speaks to me, because we need to, there's no one talking really about this. There's one group in, I think they're in Melbourne or Victoria, gene ethics, talking about it, but we need a lot more focus on what's happening to our food systems. Thank you.
I just want to tell you all, this girl is a powerhouse of information. You need to watch this space. Go and have a talk to her. Kate Mason, don't forget her name. Kate Mason is at the cutting edge of this information. She's a walking encyclopedia. She has the facts correct. And well done, Kate. We thank you very much. I would like to ask this question, okay? This is very simple. Could you stand up if you know anyone that has actually died from COVID, directly from COVID? Just stand up. If you know anyone that has directly died of COVID, could you stand up? Okay? Right, thank you. We have two. Oh, we have some up the back. Thank you. I would like to know anybody, would you stand up? If you know anybody, we had 5 there, that died directly or seriously injured from a vaccine. Could you stand up? Could you stand up? Okay, that's all I wanted to know. The pattern is clear. Okay? We know where the real threat lies. I would like to invite up a lady I've known for quite a few years. I can tell you firsthand she's a darn good cook. And Barbara and I have been married. Barbara, would you like to come up here, please? Barbara and I have been married for 26 years. 26 years ago, I was a single parent of about 4 years, and so I decided to find the perfect wife. So I developed a formula that would find me the perfect wife. And I put every female I knew, and there was a lot of that was eligible, and I put them into the formula. And there was one person that scored above everybody else, and her name was Barbara. And so I went and asked her to marry me. And she wisely said yes. But we've been told by letter
Glad my microphone wasn't on then. You would have heard a very, very, very loud, long lot of swearing. It's dropped out again, folks. I'm sorry about that, just at the most interesting part. I'll keep the feed going just for a minute, see whether or not we can get the picture back. But yep, here we go.
And of course, they had
Thank you, Ezio. Anything's possible, you know. It does certainly seem that there has been a large load placed on the stream. That's all I can tell from this end. A large load has been placed on it, but it looks to me like I've still got a carrier. I'm just not getting any picture or audio, and that indicates bandwidth, which is weird because we didn't have a bandwidth issue before. I don't know. I see Michael in the background there, so I don't know what Michael's using. Maybe he's streaming. If there are a few streamers in there at the moment, that might take up a bit of the bandwidth. But don't. Oh, might be getting a bit of a reload. No, not getting a reload. So I think we might have to love it and leave it there, folks. You wanted to hear the formula? You and me both. What the? But there it is. At least it is the launch of the Heart Party, and a very encouraging launch, I think, too. They certainly very switched on people, and they are very focused on all of our health for all of us, and holding to account those that have wanted to see the worst done to us, those that are propagating the lies and the bullshit. So hopefully we'll be able to catch up with Michael and Barbara and hear what Barbara had to say sometime next week. But at the moment, I don't think this is going to come back. It is... no, I'm not getting... Just looking at a few other things. I'm trying to figure out if there's something I can do to beef it up, but there's nothing I can do at my end at this point. So, no. Unfortunately, I think we might have to leave it there, folks. Oh, God, and as soon as I say that, I get a little bit of a glimmer of hope. And then nothing. No, looks like it's fallen over. So, how interesting that it's fallen over just as Barbara was about to speak. Don't you find that interesting? Yeah. I just find that a little too convenient. I'm sorry. A little too convenient. All right, folks, I'm going to love you and leave you. Go and have a good afternoon with what's left, and we'll endeavour to try and pick up and where we left off, so to speak, and find out what Barbara had to say. Barbara was to be the last speaker, I'm pretty sure. So we'll get her on live and have a chat with her on the Voice of Freedom, hopefully this week. And we'll have Michael on too to explain further about what Heart will be doing for Australians going forward. And of course, that might be the party that you might consider standing for in the next state or federal election. Have a look at what they stand for, what they're all about. And if parties are a way that you feel we should go, then maybe that's one you can join. God knows it would be a lot better than joining the Liberal, the Labor, the Greens, let's not go on to it. I'm going to upset a few people if I keep naming them. So parties are not necessarily my favourite way of doing things. Oh, looks like I'm getting some pictures back now. It seems to me like Barbara has finished speaking, though. And, yeah, I'd say that's it. They've pulled the feed. So there'll be no more feed from the show, unfortunately, and I will try and make up that chat with Barbara for you a little bit later on in the week. Please, folks, have a great day. Be out there, be safe. If you are going to be on the roads, avoid the dickheads. And if you're going to a chilly place, stay warm. I've got 3 layers on underneath the Cali top here. It's a beautiful day out there in Oberon. Absolutely stunning. But it's a little chilly. A crisp day, at least for a Queenslander. Have a good one, folks.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!